Arsenal just beat Bayern Munich, resulting in their first loss of the season and putting Arsenal at the top of the Champions League spaces, where a lot of people are calling them the best team in Europe. Now, Declan Rice, I think, is the best midfielder right now in the world. And in this game, he was not only outstanding, but on and off the ball, this is a world-class performance. And in this video, we're going to analyse all the big things he did. So let's get into it. Now, not only are Arsenal playing incredibly well this season and are playing some of the best football I've ever seen Arsenal play in my entire life, Declan Rice is a big part of that. And since that Newcastle game, he has been outstanding and the best midfielder in the world. And in this game, I think it is the crowning moment of it. He was amazing and everywhere on the pitch. And when you look at his heat map, you can see the amount of blade of grass that he got. After the game, Declan Rice actually said in his interview that it's the fittest he's ever been. And although we know Declan Rice is a player that can run and cover ground, in this game I think he did it more than anyone else, and I think the best way of seeing that is in the press. Now, something else that Rice mentioned in his post-match interview is that because of Bayern Munich's constant rotations, they actually decided to do zonal marking quite a lot in the first half. Now, what he means by that is him and Zubimendi specifically in the middle were basically having to force themselves into these positions the whole time. If players moved up into different areas, they might track them, depending on who it is, but they are most likely going to hold this area and make sure that Bayern Munich can't progress the ball down the middle. Now, a lot of the time, Harry Kane would be this player, and he'd come from obviously down here, he'd leave Mascara and Saliba and go into this position, and Mascara is not going to track him. Mascara is going to hold the line and keep compact in our area. Now, we didn't mind when Bayern Munich got the ball in this situation and tried to play the ball out wide. A lot of the time they actually tried these bounce passes where they put the ball into someone like Kimmich in the midfield or Stanisic, and you put the ball back straight into their fullback where they're trying to get that space out wide, which is something we have spoken about Arsenal doing more this season. Now, the thing is, when they get the ball in this wider area, not only do you get Miles come across, Mascara kind of covers that winger who even then might go on an overlap and Mascara's then tracking him. You just get on him so tightly. You have Trossard coming from this area, you have Rice occupying this midfield area, and if they take too long on the ball, Rice is probably going to come and take it, and this was a problem for Bayern. And because they didn't really have a lot of pace barring the wingers where they could actually run to the byline and get behind, Harry Kane in these positions may work his way into these sort of areas, but he's not going to be really fast, and Saliba isn't going to lose him. So the only way that they can really get over this block is if Kimmich in deeper areas can find a pass over the top when they have worked it well. And what I mean by that happened a few times where obviously if we move all these players a little bit further back and Arsenal in a bit of a deeper area, this is not particularly where Arsenal want to be because they can't jump up. This is where Arsenal were mostly in their sort of mid to low block, you would say, because they were waiting to see what Bayern would do. Now, in this position, a lot of the time, Arsenal were absolutely fine. There is literally no way you can really get past this team because even gaps, which may look a little bit big, like this, for instance, one of the two midfielders is just going to be able to come and sweep that up with how quick they are, and Rice is so good at that so much. Obviously, with their goal, it comes from them just booting the ball 50 yards across, and Miles Lewis isn't really paying attention. He gets in behind, but that happens. There's not something we can really do in that situation. We should have defended it from here, and we didn't, but I think the block was fine overall. Now, although that was our press when it was in a mid to low block, when we actually got Bayern building up a lot deeper, so in this area, we were a little bit efficient at pressing, especially more in the second half. This is where you would start seeing Arsenal come at these players. You'd start seeing Saka close down the wingers, you'd start seeing Eze really close down on them centre-backs and run at them, and we've seen Eze and Marino get better at that, and we also saw Rice take more risks. A lot of the time, Rice was pushing right up against this receiver in the midfield. We were allowing Marino to go up to the main centre-back or the left centre-back, and he was pushing up as well, and this was allowing Rice to get even more effect on the game. Not only did he have a great ability at winning the ball back in these areas, when Zubimendi had the ball in these situations deeper and maybe he would, I don't know, tackle or miss the ball or it would bounce into this sort of location, there was many times in this game that Rice runs all the way back from his location, just sweeps up the ball and manages to kick the ball up the pitch so quickly, and it kept happening where they broke our press in midfield. They actually got into these areas, they're about to carry it, and then Rice just recovers, and this happened every single time with his brilliant recovery runs. Now, in the second half, we obviously went for a bit more of a man-to-man approach, and we were trying to track their great rotations. Very much like us, they have great rotations all over the pitch. Now, actually, in our second goal, Declan Rice does win the ball back and score this goal for us, I would say, and it's brilliant play by everyone else, but it's mainly down to him. Now, in this moment, you can see that every single player for Arsenal is in a man-to-man press. They're keeping their man markers very well, and actually, quite funny enough, Calafiori is in the position to overlap because Elise comes deeper to receive, and he's just happened to be following him, and then takes that that initiative to make that run going forward. Now, Declan Rice and Zubimendi are in a more zonal approach in the midfield. They are not going to get pulled out of position and get pulled out wide, which some of the Bayern players want them to do. Arsenal would be happy for them to receive the ball deeper, where you see Kimmich come really far back into the centre-backs, and they're not going to press him unless they have to. They're going to wait in their positions and trying to protect that back line from any shots or passes in behind or runs from the midfield. Now, this is what Rice really does well at. He can cover ground so well that almost you don't see it. They try to do a quick change of Elise coming deeper, and I think it's Lima who comes inside from the right back position. But Upamecano doesn't really pay much attention. It's a poor pass, and Rice is already over into that middle position, reading that run and winning the ball back. And this is where instantly he wins the ball back. Upamecano steps up to him and he puts the ball brilliantly into Eze, which obviously we end up scoring from, and Rice deserves a lot of credit for that. But all game, Rice kept having this incentive to win the ball back. There's a few times that his running abilities were incredible, and he'd lose the ball, but he'd run so far back that Bayern can't even get up the pitch quick enough, and he'd tackle the ball off the pitch. And I think we've seen it a lot from Rice over his time at Arsenal, but this was a game which it really stood out in. And like we mentioned there, that really goes well with the amount of carrying that he did in this game. Now, in this game, you look at the touch map, which we spoke about earlier, but he actually played a lot more aggressive into that left-hand side, which we haven't really seen too much over time, but he was really aggressive in this game. And a lot of the time, I just felt that Arsenal were getting pressed by Bayern, which was a decent press to an extent, and they were really giving us a hard game. And we would kick the ball long, one of the wingers or someone would bring the ball down, and Rice would be able to run in and then get in behind because he's used that running ability and power to keep doing that. And obviously, there's that chance in the second half where he gets the ball, he runs the entire pitch and should score, but it's a good save by Neuer, and somehow we don't bundle it in on the rebound. But there's so many times as well where Marino actually came deeper in build-up, and Declan Rice is not only running off the ball into them striker positions, but when he gets the ball, he runs into them, and he's one of the most aggressive players in this game with his carrying ability, which is incisive. And there's so many times, I think, where Arsenal are starting to take risks this season, which we just never have seen before. There is times where obviously a lot of players come back and we're defending in numbers, but we also keep a lot of our attackers up there quite far away, and the gaps in the midfield are quite big where teams would struggle with that generally. But for someone like Declan Rice, he doesn't. Not only can he pass the ball long, which we didn't see too much in this game, but he's done a lot over the time, is that when he gets that ball on that counter-attacking situation, all that space is there for him to take up, and he loves it. He loves running into that space, and he powers Arsenal up into the pitch, where we usually get like a 4-on-4 in the attacking areas to then create chances. And the thing is with Rice, everything he did in the forward areas in this game was just so quick and decisive. There's times where the ball comes into him, he's got no time to think, instantly puts that ball across to someone like Eze to run through, or someone else. There's times where he needs to make that run down the wing where the space is there, and he just absolutely blitzes past players. And I do really want to mention the whole Zubimendi Rice thing. I'm sure a lot of people will talk about it a lot more than I have here, but there's many times where Rice and Zubimendi play really close and really far away from each other. And I really like the fact that Rice isn't forced to go into the box all the time, because now he has a consistent runner that will actually create chances and be there with him. There's a few times that Rice is in these positions down this left-hand side where he's got the ball and he's quite deep, but there's not really that many options in the middle, and he's probably going to have to rotate it round. However, Zubimendi's made an attack and run. He puts the ball into these pockets where Zubimendi wants it, and we know how good Zubimendi is at passing into these areas. He makes chances happen and he gets into the box as well, which I think is a big thing that giving Rice that security, and also Marino, because Marino is a bit more of a rotational player, which I think they always help with them constant rotations. And in this game, his defensive work was excellent. There's many times where in our own box as well, he is defending with his life, he is blocking really well, and he's getting in front of players, which is mightily important. He was just the quickest player, the most fittest player out there on this day, but he just eases the defense so much. In this game, I felt like Mosquera and Saliba, specifically Saliba, had a really good game, but I didn't feel like Mosquera had too much to do with Harry Kane, because with Declan Rice covering for you, Harry Kane just can't get anywhere near the box. Now, obviously in this game, we're going to go through Declan Rice's stats like we always do, because I think it paints a good picture of how good his game was. Now, in this game, obviously he only made 39 out of 49 passes, but like we said, a lot of them were long, the ones that he messed up, and they were at least like hard passes in between the pockets, which I loved him doing. I felt like his passing in this game was much more attacking and brave than some of the criticism we've had of Rice in past seasons. This season, I just don't think that's the case. Obviously, he created good XG and X assist. That one big chance that he probably should have scored or got an assist from obviously didn't go in at the end. This is the attack and work. 6 passes into the final third, 3 out of 7 accurate crosses, 2 out of 5 long balls. And this is the thing, we don't even really speak about the crosses and set piece deliveries he has in this game because I just think it's pointless at this point. But I have to say this is one of the best games in terms of set piece deliveries consistently by him and Saka. We should have scored more from them. Declan Rice has some absolutely incredible crosses. Every single one is on the money, and it's genuinely scary that that is such an ability we have. And I genuinely think if Gabriel was playing, there probably would have been a few goals in them, but honestly got to give Rice so much credit. Now also look at this defensive work as well as that attacking work. 1 tackle, 1 block, 2 clearances, 2 headed clearances, 1 interception, 5 recoveries. He is insane. He is one of the most fittest players I've ever seen. He covers so much ground. The 5 recoveries don't do this justice. This guy was running around the pitch doing what he wanted the entire time. Now this is obviously not the first time Declan Rice has been excellent. I think he's always a 7, 8 out of 10 player, but I think this game is one of the best. I think this is up there for his Real Madrid games in terms of performance. And you think about the opponent we're playing, you think about the talk before the game, it's one of them games where he had to step up, and he has. And let's hope he does it against Chelsea on the weekend, which is another crucial game for the team. But we're plopping along well, we're doing brilliant, it's a time to celebrate, and it's an incredible win for the club. Love it by Arteta, everyone deserves credit, and it's great to see some of the substitutes score. Brilliant players off the bench yet again. Now let me know in the comments what you guys think about Declan Rice's performance. Now please like and subscribe for any more Arsenal content, and I will see you in the next one.